Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady Dee.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Dom Life podcast.
Thank you for joining us.
Today, we are going to be closing out our series of dominant submissive lifestyles, deeper dive into domination.
Wait. First, I just want everyone to know that it was just your birthday, and I wanted to say happy birthday live on air.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, my birthday was Friday.
And we celebrated it hard last night.
We celebrated very hard last night. We'll get into that here in a little bit. We'll touch a little bit on the third annual birthday bonanza blowout bash.
You've got that down great.
Yes, we do.
You just kept adding those B's in every year.
Oh, you got to. You got to expand every year. But yeah, so over the last several months, we have been doing interviews with other dominant and submissives to talk about their relationship, their lifestyle, to give our listeners a broader view of how others do it.
And it really provided such an education for us.
It did. I mean, we've done it to educate you all who listen to this. And not only did we hopefully educate you all, but we got educated as well. And it was so nice to sit down with our friends and, I mean, people that we hang out with
all the time,
and to sit down with them and talk with them about how they do their relationship in their dominant submissive lifestyle, and to pick their brain and to ask questions you wouldn't ask at a club setting or at a house party or anything, you know.
But here we were able to provide all of our questions.
Yes, and it was great. I absolutely loved it. We're not done. We're still going to be doing interviews.
But this specific series of interviews, we geared towards the DS relationship in general.
Yes.
So you can get to know some of the players, some of the people and their lifestyles.
Right.
And one of the things we did is we selected individuals that were different from each other. It wasn't everybody who's in a typical DS relationship. We really mixed it up and made selections.
Got a huge mixture between us and our lifestyle and our relationship and how we do it. Yeah, and it was, again, it was all our friends, you know, that we've met throughout the years from Club Tempted. But knowing that each one of them is so different and unique in its own ways, we all do have our similarities.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that we do that is very similar, whether it's something they just done on themselves or they have learned from watching other couples. But to know that there is as many similarities as there is, to also see how big of a difference a lot of them were too.
Yes.
And
there
again,
were some things that I just kept wanting to plug your ears because I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
Don't hear that.
I still got my notes for all of it.
Notes.
I'm going to have to find the time one day to really sit down and narrow down our situation.
Probably when we start talking contract negotiation.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for several months now. We're going to have to do that. I'm ready to
couple episodes
to
maybe
renegotiate it. Yep. So let's take a step back in time and just kind of summarize and talk about the interviews that we have in case this is your first time joining us. We hope it's not your first time, but if it is your first time, to kind of give you some highlights of each episode, you know, when the interview started, So way back when, episode 7.
Long time
Seems
ago.
like forever ago. We had Sir Dante and Zora. And out of everybody that we've interviewed, they are one of the couples that we've known the longest.
Yes.
Since we started our journey and venturing out to the club, they were one of the first couples that we've met. There was another one that's ranks right up there around the same time frame. But Sir Dante and Zora,
they live it 24/7.
They are absolutely 100% 24/7. Now we say we live at 24/7, which we do. We have you have your task, your daily task that you have to do. They take it a little further,
especially
in
with their
lifestyle.
contract.
With their contract, they are
epic contract that nobody knows anything about except the size.
Contract driven. Sir Dante is very black and white.
Yes.
And there's very little to no gray area when it comes to Sir Dante. He loves the lifestyle. He wants to live the lifestyle every second of every day. And finding Zora, and she wants that in her life. She wants the rules.
Perfect pairing.
It is absolutely.
Although she could have been our unicorn.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We've talked about it, how we were hoping to go down that road. But, looking back on it now, it would have been fun and we would have had a blast with it. But I honestly don't think we would have had the relationship with her like we do now if that was the road we went down.
Yes.
I feel that she wouldn't have been completely satisfied and fulfilled in what she's wanting out of a DS relationship.
100%, because she wants the control that Dante has.
Right.
And you are not that controlling, because if you were, it would be a problem. You still have bottom line control, but if it's that kind of structure.
I do have gray area.
Yes. So that was episode 7.
Yep.
And then, of course, there are multiple episodes. There's dungeon episodes, but that's where that one started. And then the next one, we switched it up a little bit.
We completely flipped the normal roles of what you hear out in the real world. Episode 11, we had Mandy and Chris. And Mandy is the dominant in that relationship.
Yes, especially, so we talked about it, and it's in the bedroom. Their normal life, Chris is the person who takes care of the typical manly things.
Yes.
He's definitely not, she just is in the bedroom.
Yep.
She's the dominant.
He likes to come home to her and let her have the control. And she does a lot of mind play with him. A lot of it is mental with him. And that was very interesting and exciting to sit and to talk to them about how she has the little mind control and the mind games that she likes to play with him. And definitely got me thinking more. I want to know more. I need to educate myself more on that, because that sounds like a whole lot of fun.
And she's really good because she's a lot smaller than Chris. She's very good at picking the right implements to cause the most pain with the least amount of physical effort.
Right.
So just watching them in the dungeon, that's very apparent.
It is. And then which Chris also enjoys being caged. So that's part of their dynamic.
It was so interesting to me.
It was to see it, to hold it as heavy as it was.
You meant holding the cage, not the penis in the cage that I got to do.
I just held the cage. But the weight to it was a lot.
It was
and
they chose that rather than the plastic. He wanted one that, and I find that just tremendous.
Yep. But again, that one was a really good episode to sit and talk to them, to figure out that dynamic and to learn more about them as well. We've known them for several years, and
yes,
to be able to sit and pick their brain, man, I absolutely loved it. Then going into episode 19, we had Loki and Christina, who are the newest out of our group, the newest couple that is working on their dominant submissive lifestyle. And
they've taken to it amazingly.
if if you didn't know them and know that they just started, they are very good at performing. They're very good with their scenes. He's come into it, like a pro.
Loki has some very, very creative ideas and usage of tools.
Yes, and which I even learned from him on a few things. I've watching him do a scene and him doing his different tips and tricks and stuff, and I've got a few things that now I use that I have learned from him.
We got to do wax play with him a couple of times. And those episodes were, I mean, not one episode, but one personally.
Right.
Those were so much fun.
Yeah, we had
Christina
a lot of fun.
Christina has the cutest little voice that comes out of her. Mine is never quiet like that.
Yeah, you're always giggling and laughing, and she's got just the real soft, quiet, sir. And it was.
It was Daddy.
Daddy, that's what it was. Yeah, we had some wonderful times sitting and talking with them.
And again, it's another perspective. So we went from the contract, rule-driven, 24/7 to a female dom, and then somebody who's kind of newer at it.
Newer and learning and still exploring and educating themselves. And finding their community, finding the people that they enjoy to hang out with and to talk to and to learn from,
Yes.
and it's Loki even mentioned last night at my birthday party. He was like, "Hey, we need to figure out something just for us doms, just to get out and go do something, and it's kind of like
then our subs will go out and you
Right.
guys will be in so much trouble, all of us gabbing together.
I don't think we'll be in any trouble at all.
Well, again, maybe because episode 40 was Milady K and she's a switch.
Yep.
So she might go out and you're dominant, but man, she can get subby.
She can be very subby, and she can be a little bratty at times too. We have witnessed that. But Milady K starting off as a submissive, as a bottom, and then transitioning over into the dominant top side, and she really enjoys it. She specializes in sensual and sensory play.
And she taught us a lot.
She did.
One of the things that, as a result of the dungeon episode that we had together, you've incorporated things, but I have bought myself a ton of tools for the various demos we've done. And I spend an extraordinary amount of time in the dungeon running around showing everybody all the sensory play.
Yep, you had some last night.
It's become my favorite thing to do is to get people to groan or moan because I'm rubbing them with fur using a Wartenberg wheel. And that is a direct result of Milady K.
Yep, she did. She taught us a lot. And
then she switches it up.
I even volunteered after our episode for the dungeon play. Yep.
And that's where you picked up some new things.
Yeah. I enjoy being rubbed, and so you can step away from the impact and that kind of stuff.
You enjoyed some of the impact because it was like the light impact with the thumpy,
light. Right?
And it feels almost like a massage,
right? I've always been one to really love getting my back scratched,
right?
So seeing all the soft fur and all the implements that she had,
feathers and
it did. I volunteered to lay down after that episode and let you all go a little bit on me, and it was an amazing feeling.
What's really interesting about that is what we did with putting you on the table was not a power exchange.
Right.
It was literally just here. Why don't you feel these sensations? And what it does is it makes you a better dom. You didn't give up power to her. There's different scenes where it's a true power exchange where Milady K is amping things up as she goes along because the intention is to take that control and keep that control. But with you, it was just, let's do a sensory thing where you can feel it all.
Exactly.
And so one of the things stating that is we do have a demonstration coming up at Club Tempted on February 14th, which is going to be the sensory sensation play with a billion implements we have purchased that we're going to do at Club Tempted with
members.
Members,
Yep.
the attendees. We're going to do a wonderful.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. Club Tempted, February 14th, Valentine's Day, sensual play demonstration. It's going to be fun. And my lady Kay, I think, is planning on being there too.
So is Dante and Zora.
Yep, they plan on being there. So it's going to be a great night for that. In episode 45, we had Bear.
Big
And
Bear.
Bear, out of all of the people we interviewed, Bear was the one that we knew the least amount about
Personally.
him. Personally, yes. We, of course, met him at Club Tempted. We have had a few conversations.
The tickle scene,
The
epic.
tickle scene was huge. So he was the one that was tickling Miss Jade. And, we knew him. I knew he was a nice guy. I knew he was the utmost respect towards anybody and everybody. Anytime he would want to look at something on you or look at your collar or look at anything you had, it was always, may I do,
Yes.
the utmost respectful guy
And
I
of
have ever met.
course, he's the one that created the implement,
Yes.
your flogger,
One of my favorite flogger.
the double
of all
hander
time.
for me.
But we got him on, and coming up to that interview, I was a little nervous. I was a little worried. I thought, how good is this interview going to go?
How is the communication going to
right.
go? What are
How's it going to flow? We send out bullet points to anybody that we interview. These are the questions we're going to ask. Let us know if you don't want to talk about anything, or this gives them a chance to have their answers ready. And of course, there's always, every interview, there's questions that we pull out of thin air just to kind of surprise them with.
I love doing that too.
Yeah.
But it's the natural flow. We do this with natural flow.
Right. We have the bullet points to kind of keep us on track,
Yes.
but we don't always follow from top to bottom. We skip around, we move around depending on the flow. And again, I was nervous going into this interview, not knowing how well it was going to work out and if it was even going to be an episode. And it turned into three. It was so great sitting there talking to Bear. We've talked at the club. We've, messaged back and forth a few times. Hey, check this out. Or what do you think about this? He made my flogger, but to sit and talk and to hear about his life.
His poly relationship.
Yep. He is in a poly relationship. He has 2 submissives, 1 collared, 1 at the time wasn't collared, but was hopefully moving in that direction. And, hearing about his near-death experience.
Yes.
And how that made him, relook at himself and decide on what's important to him moving forward.
So if you're out there listening, don't wait until you have a near-death experience.
Right.
Take the steps now to get what you need into your life, because think about if you died tomorrow or close to, would you look back at your life and said, I regret not exploring this?
Right. It could happen at any time, any day.
So,
but Bear was
he was such a good, and sometimes his humor
his humor
when
was
it come
amazing.
in, we would just laugh until tears were running down your eyes because it was wholly unexpected.
Yeah, we still got to get your hand picks. We got to get that website up and going. We get some income coming in off of that.
And then he creates the implements. I haven't gotten mine yet,
Nope, but
we ordered it, and he's in the process of crafting it.
Yep. He makes so many different implements, and he talked about what got him started into it. If you don't know your local people that do it, if you're looking online, if you're searching websites, you will find that a lot of implements are very pricey.
Yes.
And for him, that was what he was looking at. He was like, if I want to do this, I've got to find a way of making them myself.
Yes.
And so the way that he creates, he's the only, his flogger, the one he made is my only wooden handled flogger that I have. Others may have wood in them, but they're wrapped in leather or they're braided somehow. His is wood.
The wood was crafted by him. He
learns how to craft it. He talks about listening to his hands when he makes it, and his implements by far love everything that he has made so far. They are very great.
So I think what we did is we did the series up right. We gave the perspectives of a multitude of dominants who
Yes.
are in varying types of relationships at varying levels.
Yes.
But as a result of us doing these interviews, I think at this point we want to do different interviews now. We're taking a different path now that we've given everybody the basics.
Right. You've got the basics. You've got the 101s. We're going to step up our game and really start narrowing in on individual topics. We will still be having interviews. We are very excited to get everybody back on again for another interview for their own specialized topic. I know we've got several in the back of our minds, but it's going to be, communicating with Dante and Zora and Mandy and Chris and Loki and Christina and all of them, talking with them of what do you consider your specialty? What can you bring different and unique to the table?
Right.
For us to sit down and
And
talk
there's
about.
other people that we've already started interviewing.
Yes.
But one of the things, the reason for it was because we wanted to educate our people, like
Yes.
our listeners. I'm sorry.
Y'all are our people. Just
You're
so
my
you know.
people. You obviously, you're listening to us. You're my people.
That's right.
But I've realized lately that the community portion of this is key. So this
Absolutely.
is our community.
Yes.
And if you're not local to Louisville, then it may not be your community.
Right.
So you need to find that community. So we did the interviews. That gives you the start. But now go look out in your community and find people that are into BDSM. Find the various kinks. It's knowing your kink community, your BDSM community. Go to some of the events that they hold. And if one of them doesn't fit, then find another, because
Right.
there's multiple areas of BDSM
Yes.
and they all have their own different events and meetings.
They do. I mean, even here in Louisville, there's 2 or 3 different groups that meet, that do their munches, their sloshes, their educations, their dungeon plays. There's several places. There's 2 lifestyle clubs within 30 minutes of each other.
And the lifestyle clubs, even though a big portion are swingers, they also include the BDSM community.
Yes. Club Tempted has really grown more and continues to grow. I mean, even for us, we've noticed the last few times that we've been, it's like a whole new different crowd. But you still get the same interests and the same kind of fetishes from them. You will see them looking through the window at the dungeon. They're still interested. They still want to step in. It's just them getting comfortable and asking and getting somebody to do it to them.
So last night, what happened? We took over the dungeon with a very large group.
Yes.
And it was so much fun.
It was. Again, it's our community. This is the people that we hang with, that we've got to know, that we enjoy being with, and we always have fun regardless of where we're at. But yes, we finally went over to the dungeon last night.
After your birthday, doing the naughty wood and having all that fun, we went over to the dungeon.
Yep. We shut the door, and there wasn't really your typical scene. Nobody really had a typical scene, but there was a lot of impact. There was a lot of passing around of implements. Here, try this, or this is what I've learned from Loki. Do this to her. And
it was kind of educational.
It was. Everybody got a little bit of, we had another couple that we've started bringing into our group, really hanging out with. They're curious about it. So we got her up on the cross, and I got to use the flogger on her for some, and she absolutely loved it. Her husband got up there and actually used the implements and floggers on her some too.
That's
so
awesome.
It was back and forth, which they've dabbled in it a little bit,
Right.
off with herself. But it was like you said, educational. We was all just showing what we enjoy doing the most.
Like, go ahead and try this.
Right.
And Loki with his little
cattle prod.
Oh my gosh, that thing. That is not the best implement.
It's fun though, because it makes a really great pop sound whenever it goes off.
And then it was just one of those nights where everybody was in the mood. They stayed there for a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't scene
It
driven, it
wasn't.
was play
It
driven.
was play and just trying out new and different things. You had Sir Dante and Zora had showed up, and for the first time, Zora, I'm sorry if you get in trouble for this, but for the first time, we seen your naked ass that wasn't marked up, and we even questioned that. Why is your ass not marked? What the hell's happened? And she was like, "Shh, don't let him know." But
It got marked.
it got marked last night.
It got
Yeah,
marked.
she wanted a little bit, and he definitely delivered. Probably more than she was asking for.
Well, it's, I think, our fault too. Mind you, we were all in a community that we know each other very well, but we had been feeding him shots all night too. So,
Yes.
and he was very clear.
He was amped
kind of
up.
sat off to the side, but
He
he's
did.
like, "Look, they're handing me these implements, Zora."
What do I do with them? So,
It was so much
but
fun.
it was a lot of fun. Everybody seemed to really enjoy it. Everybody came out of the dungeon laughing, smiling. We went back to VIP, finished off the pizzas and the popcorn and the stuff that
So
you
much
had brought.
fun.
And everybody just kind of chilled for a little bit after the dungeon play before one by one people started dispersing, going home, or I think some even went off to a playroom
I
afterwards.
believe they did.
And it was an amazing time. It was a wonderful third annual birthday bonanza blowout bash.
Yes. So we did that because we're part of a community. Now, one of the things we've talked to people about is finding online communities, finding people through social media or different
Yes, it's a good place to start.
to start. But I've noticed lately, and it's the reason I'm really pushing that you go out and meet people
Yes.
face to face in a safe environment, but because the online community and some of the Facebook groups and other things that you get involved with, I've noticed that some of the comments have gotten really judgmental. Like you'll
and-
post an honest
yeah.
question about something like, "I'm interested in this," or "I've done this, and is this okay?" And people who are sitting at home, not even part of the community, are out there posting some really negative stuff to your
Now,
comments.
You've got to be careful with these, especially Facebook groups. All right. So you've got people that may or may not be interested in BDSM, but stumble across this group and think, "Ooh, I'm going to get to see titties, or I'm going to get to see sexy pictures, or all of this." It is very hard to screen through a computer what their actual intention is. There's always questions that you have to answer, but anybody can lie.
Yes.
You will find just about every group on Facebook will say this is a carefree, non-judgmental space, blah, 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 blah. And all I got to do is say, "Yep, I accept your rules." So you have to be cautious because you do have those people out there. And if you are new to this and you join these Facebook groups, there is good information that comes from these Facebook groups.
Yes.
But there's also bad information, and there's also the people, I'm just going to call them dicks. They're fucking dicks that
time.
want to be rude or disrespectful to somebody who is honestly new and curious and wanting to learn. You will get those rude remarks. So yes, along your lines.
I've gotten to the point where I just won't comment in these groups. I will look and listen, and sometimes I may respond to somebody else's comment, but very rarely, because it's just enough negativity, and I don't need that in my life,
Right.
and neither do you.
Right.
So go join it so that you
Yes.
can see the questions and some
Right.
legitimate answers, but also go find your
Find your
community.
people. Do your research. FetLife. Again, a lot of people like FetLife. A lot of people hate FetLife. FetLife is another one of them that you will find the people that want to be rude or judgmental. But FetLife is used to find your groups, to find your organizations, to find the people that have the events and the conventions and that kind of
Yes.
stuff. And there is where FetLife comes in handy. You're going to, if you're a female, I'm going to say, especially if you're a female and you're on FetLife, you are going to get bombarded with hungry guys that want to show you their dicks. That's basically all you're going to get as far as the messages and stuff like that on FetLife. So you got, I have to say, you take the good with the bad, but a lot of times there's more bad than there is good. But those are the keys to finding the activities that are close by to you, to where you can get out, venture out, meet people. You're not going to like everybody you meet.
That just reminded me. So one of the events that we were scheduled for, right, is Intrigue.
Yes.
We've decided not to go for a number of reasons.
A lot of number of reasons.
Yes. And they were, we've decided we are not going to be, we're not going to be there. So I'm sorry for any of you that are listeners that have decided to go because we said we were going.
Yes.
We've
And
actually,
it is disheartening because looking back on our stats for our podcast, Indianapolis is number 3 in most popular and the most downloads. And for that reason, I know I was very excited to go to Indianapolis in hopes of meeting people that listen to our podcast. Obviously, Louisville is our number 1 most downloaded city. Indianapolis is number 3. And I was very disheartened to know that we were going to have to cancel our trip to Indianapolis. I'm hoping something else comes along, somewhere close by to Indianapolis. I still want to go. I still want to meet you all if you're listening and are coming.
yes.
We want to meet everybody that listens to our podcast. But yes, we have canceled our trip to Indianapolis for Intrigue. I do need to get on our website and remove that because we will not be attending Intrigue this year.
Yes. So, sorry, I just realized when we were talking about online community that we didn't announce the fact
Yep.
that we are
that's
going to
good.
not be able to go. So, in addition to going and finding your people and stuff like that, continue listening to the Dom Life. Because
Absolutely.
we have so much coming up, some of which we've already hit on this episode, but expect interviews, expect
Yes.
additional one-on-ones where we talk about stuff. For instance, Miss Jade is going to be on our next
episode.
She is going to be talking about subspace, subdrop, and aftercare. Those are things that are at a different level than mine.
Right. Well, and to hit on our next episode a little bit, that episode 3, I think it was, subspace, subdrop, and aftercare. That was something that a lot of our people that we know said, hey, do an episode on that. It's something that doesn't get talked about. So we did our episode from Lady Dee's perspective. What is subspace to her? What is subdrop to her? And what is her aftercare? So to continue on with our interviews, but to end our dominant series, those are the type of topics that we're wanting to talk about. The fact that episode was our most downloaded, our most popular episode, we wanted to find somebody to talk about their subspace, subdrop, and aftercare. And we've been around with Miss Jade a lot. We've played with her on the cross. We've watched other people do scenes with her. We've seen her in Kinktasia and in The Rope.
We've provided aftercare.
And we have provided aftercare for her. And we wanted to give somebody a different angle on what it feels like to them. So we do have our interview with her.
Yes.
Where we get to know her a little bit and her likes and interests and what got her into the lifestyle. But it's also just another perspective. And we're going to have more of them as well, because I agree with everybody when we started. That subject always gets left out of a lot of conversations about BDSM. And it is one of the most important things to understand and to know when you're having that.
Because it's not the same person to person.
It is not.
So the more perspectives you can get on it, that means the more knowledgeable
Yes.
you're going to be when you're submissive or when you are feeling these things. You'll get a light bulb that says, that makes sense.
And then to add to that, another, you don't have it on our list, but it is something I'd like to add because it is very common. I don't know that I have personally experienced it. Maybe one night I did. But when you talk about submissives with their subspace, subdrop, and aftercare, you do have a thing called dom drop.
Dom space, when you guys are at your...
You have your dom space, you have your dom drop. For me, I think there was only one time out of the whole time of doing it that I've felt some kind of a drop from it. And it was a little confusing. It was, for me, I was constantly thinking, why am I feeling this way? And then, finding out dom drop does exist. So I think that would be a
good
topic
episode
that we need to get on there. So I'll get with the doms, talk with them.
No.
Find out who would be the best to talk about. Because I don't know.
We don't know which of the doms,
right?
If any of them
has felt the dom. Now I feel the dom space.
Right.
When I'm invested in a scene, I'm in dom space. I'm in the zone. I'm focused. I'm watching. I'm listening. But I don't know that I've really, other than that one time, and I can't even remember what night it was. I can't remember what I felt that night. I just remember thinking something's off, something's not right. And then weeks later going, I bet you that was dom drop. But I would want to find somebody that has experienced it, that can, talk about what it feels like and what they've done. So it's something that we'll put that on the back burner. We'll start gathering some ideas.
We want to get into some additional areas of BDSM as well. Like we've done the sensation play, but Spankos is one that's come up a couple of times.
Yes.
That I'm really interested in doing an interview, and I am going to reach out to the person that we know and see if they'd be willing to do it.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot lined up for you guys coming up.
Yes.
We are absolutely still loving doing our podcast. We're still loving sitting talking about it. Even if nobody was out there listening, we're still being able to talk about stuff that we love in our life and our friends that we enjoy being around. And we hope you enjoy it too. But as always, if you do have questions, we was talking earlier about going to these Facebook groups, and asking questions. Don't hesitate one bit. You will have the most non-judgmental answers from us if you have questions. And if you ask a question that we don't have an answer to, we do kind of have a pretty good book of people that we can open up to. We can contact them. We can get answers for just about anything, I bet, because we may not know them, but somebody in our group is going to know somebody that can answer that question.
Exactly.
And we can do it anonymously. We won't have to let anybody know who you are, but don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. Reach out to us. Send us a question.
Give us a topic. Give us a topic.
What are you interested in? What do you want to know more about? Let us know.
Because then we can dig deep into another topic.
Because otherwise we're just researching more ways to talk about the topics that we know.
Yes.
But give us something new to research and look at and talk about and educate with, because this is what we enjoy doing.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful exploration.
Absolutely. And make sure and tune in next week.
Happy birthday, husband. Love you, Master Nick.
Goodbye, everybody.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.